Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. All right, so President Trump has been in office one full week now, and last week we talked about tariffs because that's going to be one of his main goals is getting trade rebalanced, bringing manufacturing back to the country. And we kind of went down some rabbit trails of what does it mean and what does it mean to you as investors? And our conclusion was, regardless of which path it goes down, we're likely to end up with more inflation. All right, so now let's go to the other thing he's clearly going to have to deal with or not deal with during this administration, and that is our debt. And you've heard us here talk about debt an awful lot. We're over 36 trillion now. We're adding a trillion to the debt every 100 days. And remember, President Trump is really inheriting the last year of the Biden administration's policies. Because by the time Trump makes policies, they really don't go into effect until the next year. So what's baked into the pie? Well, 400 days from now, we will have added another 4 trillion to the debt. So that'll put us at 40 trillion. So unless we can find a way to abruptly cut this, chances are we're on this straight up trajectory. Plus, we have to pay interest on the debt, and those rates are rising right now. And I know what y'all are saying. Yeah, but Greg, we've got Vivek coming in here, and we've got Elon Musk. They're going to slash the budgets, and we're going to get this under control. Here's the reality of it, and they're already beginning to back off. Social Security spending is locked in. You can't change it. Same with Medicare, same with Medicaid. All right, so you're really going to take the hatchet to defense spending as wars in the Middle East are expanding, and we all know what's going on in Ukraine, and now they're talking about China. Probably not likely to cut there. Well, I mean, I guess you could do some cuts in the new Green Deal programs, this kind of thing on the periphery, but we might be replacing new Green Deal programs with new Greenland spending. You're not hearing a whole lot of talk really from anybody about cutting spending because politicians don't get reelected saving money. They get reelected by spending money. So that's the government side of it, but there's more to our debt. There's consumer debt. There's us. This chart, it's a little busy, but it's mortgage debt, it's revolving loans, it's auto loans, credit cards, student loan debt. We've now surpassed 18 trillion there, and we have to pay interest on that debt too. Then cities have debt, states have debt, counties have debt, corporations have debt. When you add it all up, we're over 100 trillion in debt right now, all of which has interest on it, and interest rates are rising. And it's a global problem. So Europe's got it, their same issues. They're same in Asia, same in the Middle East. It's across the board. So what's coming here? Well, I think what the solution is going to be goes back 3,700 years. This is a guy named Hammurabi. You probably have heard of the Hammurabi Code. And by the way, he looked exactly like that with that beard and everything. Here's what he did. He was the sixth king of the old Babylonian Empire. And yes, I had to look that up. On his very first day as king, he stood before all the people and he forgave all their debts. Everybody. The crowd went crazy. Yeah, I don't have to pay my debts back. Of course, there were a group of people in the background who had loaned the money who weren't going to get paid back. But here's what had happened. The society had become so debt burdened, it wasn't even functioning anymore. And the caste system, the super poor were never going to pull out of this debt thing. And the super rich, well, they had all the power, so they had no incentive to forgive debt. But he went in and did it. And then he had to have an awful lot of Secret Service protection because they wanted to get him. But you also have to realize the people were totally behind the guy. Debt forgiveness. Oh, okay, could we do that today? By the way, in history, you'll see this a lot, very common. By the way, for my Old Testament readers, If you've read up on the Jubilee system, every 50 years, all debts are forgiven. Same idea. So you wouldn't have a concentration of wealth in just the few people with everybody else being poor. Anyway, so why bring this up? There are a couple of ways to forgive debt in modern society. One way is this one. We saw it with President Biden. His parting gift. He took another 150,000 borrowers and said, you don't have to pay your student loans back. 5 million borrowers during his administration, 183.6 billion in student loan forgiveness. That's basically Jubilee. That's basically what Hammurabi did. And he did it in the easy section because who do you owe the money back to? Well, the taxpayers. Well, who's that? Well, us. When you have debt forgiveness, is there justice to it? No. You're never going to have a just system to get out of debt. Now, can we just forgive all the debts in America, a la Hammurabi? You could, but that would be the end of Social Security. That's a debt. No more Medicaid, no more Medicare, no more military retirements, no pensions. All of that is abrogated. I don't see any politician doing that. But they're hitting the debt wall, so they must do something. In modern society, what you do is you can print your way out of it. If we're 100 trillion in debt for everybody, print $100 trillion. Spray and pray, baby. Get it out to everybody. Oh, they'll never do that. We've already started. I mean, this is kind of a form of it, and we're already printing trillions already. So this is likely the path Trump and his administration will have to go down. And here's the reason why. You have to have buyers for your debt. In order to have debt, you're borrowing money from somebody else. What if somebody else stops loaning you money because they say, we're not sure you're good for it anymore? And are we starting to see this a little bit? You're seeing it in Europe. You're starting to see some of this over in Asia. Excuse me. And so what are they doing? They're hiking interest rates, just like what's happening here, to attract buyers. Say, look, like we promised to pay you. And if you don't think we're going to, well, we'll hike interest rates to at least sweeten the pot. That's the first step. Rising rates. Sorry, something in my throat. Anyway, you get the idea. So this is the path we're on. Walt and I can't stop any of this. But what we can do is set you up to benefit from it. This is why we're investing in the real things, tangible things, not papery. You can't print wheat, corn, and soybeans. You can't print gold and silver and oil. Those are the investments that do very well during this kind of environment that we're going into. And I'm getting too wordy on this, but I'll turn it over to Walt now. I hope you have a great rest of the week.